Hello and welcome to my shop. My name is Tracy Maxfield and this is Hammer Down Woodworking. This is going to be part 3 in the 3-corner Hutch build series. In the last video I built the drawer and casing. Today we're going to attach the face frame, install the drawer assembly, and build some doors. First I need to test the fit of the drawer assembly in the carcass itself. I said it's just a little bit proud of the shelf plate. So I take it back out and head over to the workbench to trim it down on hand. After several passes, I check to make sure that I haven't got out of square. And then it's back to the carcass again to check the progress. And after multiple attempts, that looks pretty good. Now it's time to attach these false drawer fronts. Each drawer front is attached with 4 brackets. It's a little overkill, but each one has an even reveal all the way around all 4 sides, and I did not want this to move. And this is how that drawer assembly is put in. It is pocket hose top and bottom. I didn't use any glue just in case it ever has to be taken apart in the future to have work done to it. Now it's time to attach the face frame. I laid the cabinet on its back. This not only makes it easier to reach, but it also allows gravity to be on my side, along with the help of a few clamps to help stabilize the frame on the carcass, holding everything square. I attached the frame to the carcass using L brackets. Each shelf got 2 brackets joining it to the stiles on each side. Now it's time to make some doors. The material is cut to a rough width at the table saw, and then one face is jointed, and then planed to thickness. And then back to the joiner to straighten up one edge. And then it's cut to its final width back at the table saw. And then using a folding rule, I get the measurements for the doors straight from the carcass itself. And I write these down as I go. And then I square up one end, and then using the fence, I cut it to its final length. And then using the router, I profile the frames. And now it's time to do a dry fit. I would also like to take this time to thank you for watching, and if you haven't already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. It would be greatly appreciated, and be sure to ring the bell. That way you don't miss the next video in this series. Now it's time to cut the door panels. This is 1/2-inch oak plywood. I use my assembly table and circular saw to break this down to a more manageable size. Then rip the width on the table saw and cut the length with a crosscut slip. And then back at the router table, I cut a rabbet all the way around all 4 corners. And on the end grain, I got some fuzz, and the way that I found to remove this real easy is to take some sandpaper on a block of wood and just press those fibers down and slightly drag that paper, and it doesn't take long to clean that right up. And then a rabbit is cut all the way around the opposite side of the panel. And then a dry fit with the panel itself. Before gluing up the doors, I went ahead and stained this rabbit on both sides of these panels. I did not want any portion of this tongue showing after the assembly due to wood movement. And the panel itself is floating, so the stain won't interfere with the glue up. Now it's time to start gluing these doors together. And as with most of my furniture, I use Titebond 3. I like having that extra minute or so of setup time, plus I already have my clamps laid out and ready to go. And it doesn't take an excessive amount of pressure with the clamps either, just enough for some squeeze out. And then everything is sanded up to 220. Now it's time to lay out for the hardware. I measure the distance that I want from both ends and mark with an awl. Then at the drill press, I use a 35mm Forstner bit and drill the holes that will receive the hardware. Then I pre-drill for the screws, but before attaching the hardware to the door, I put a slight 45-degree chamfer on the inside to prevent the door frame from rubbing against the face frame. I attached the hardware to the doors, and now it's time to mount these doors on the cabinet. These are 1/2-inch overlay hinges, so I clamp a piece on the bottom of the opening to support the door 1/2 inch below the opening, pre-drill the screw holes, and attach the hinges to the frame by hand to prevent damage to the screws. Using a combination square and a set of dividers, I measured up 1 inch and in 1 inch from the side for the knobs. I supported the back to tear out with a scrap piece of wood, and then I drilled the holes and attached the knob. Well, that's going to do it for this one. Be sure to like, subscribe, and ring the bell. I'm going to try to wrap this build up in the next video. We have some baseboards and crown mold to put on, have to install the levelers and install the rear corner board, and then stain and seal everything, and that should have this project done. As always, thanks for watching.